once the sperm travels to the vagina and it gets to where the fallopian tube is. So it eats a single egg on the head. So thereby the egg splits. Do we get it? We call it meiosis. That is that is the haploid. Do we get it? So in the process, we are able to have two same identical twins. Then in the case of the one of dizygote, it is a single sperm that fertilizes the two eggs. Do we get it? Can I talk about the ectopic pregnancy? This is the type of pregnancy whereby the pregnancy is at the back of the uterus. Do we get it? You notice when the person is pregnant, but she's not aware because the pregnancy doesn't stay in the womb, in the position. Do we get it? Can I make mention of carcinoma, which is the fibroid? I talked about different types of fibroid. We have the single fibroid, we have the multiple fibroid, we have the double fibroid. You notice that some people, they find it so difficult to give birth. So they will be placed on IVF. You know IVF? IVF means in vitro fertilization. We have surrogates. We have surrogate father, surrogate mother, etc. But the IVF has to do with the artificial insemination. That is, they will collect the sperm of that male. Then the egg of the woman will also be collected, will be deposited in a man-made uterus. It's just like when you are hatching a fowl or a chick. You collect the egg and put it in an incubator for 21 days, after which the hatch, the chicks comes out. So you now place the sperm and the egg, they'll be placed in a man-made uterus, after which 21 days, do we get it? It will now be implanted into the uterus of the woman, but it's very costly. And research has proven that most of those that do IVF, they give birth to twins and triplets. For example, if you know Ayefele very well, yes, and some other icons. So IVF give birth to twins. You hardly see an IVF that give birth to one. It is rare, like the video has given birth to ratio 100. But mostly, it's either quadruple, triplets, and twins. But it is very costly. I told them the cost. Like example, University of Jos, their IVF is 1.5. But I don't know of OSUT. It is very costly because it has to do with special care. When it is 3 months, it will be implanted so that the woman will be able to carry it. Do we get it? And I think I talk about albinism, where I mentioned when there is, we have albino in the society. Like every October, we do celebrate Albinism Day. That is Albino Day. Albino, they are not to be isolated. They are also human like us. What causes albino is that it is due
Please, can you tell us the meaning of albino in Yoruba?
Albino means afin. Have you seen afin before? Yes. You understand? Yes. Albino is caused by, we have two languages in medical. We have the hypo, we have hyper. Anywhere you see hypo means lower. That is a kind of secretion, decrease. When you hear hyper means, higher. So albino is caused by hypo secretion of the melanin. The melanin is the one that gives the coloration.
Solis.
Do we get it? Just like in your biology, you have photosynthesis. That is being accompanied by chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B. Do we understand? The chlorophyll gives the plant its coloration. So the melanin now gives the body, the skin, its coloration. Now, when there is an hyposecretion of melanin, it leads to albino. Do we get it? Do you understand? Yes. That's albino now. It's another type of human part. It's a congenital malformation from day one. Do you understand? Is it that, just like I said, we have 23 pairs of chromosomes. It is possible that out of the 23, it was 22 that was deposited into the female. So it then means the person has developed a congenital malformation from day one in the complete. Do we get it? Yes, and I talk about uterus. Do you get it? I talk about uterus, that is.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us the full meaning of IBS?
IVF.
Yes, I
IVF.
said
IVF.
Yes,
He said it. Repeat it again.
In vitro fertilization. In vitro fertilization. IVF. In vitro fertilization. Yes. In vitro fertilization.
I'm not a student of science.
Okay, sir.
And I don't want to die in this moment.
Yes, sir. It's in vitro.
I know that because I used to do IVS.
IVF.
IVS.
Yes, IVF, sir.
The 2 minutes again.
In vitro fertilization. Then lastly I talked about
Please, let's clap for Mr. Mayor. Let's clap for Mr. Mayor. All eyes on Daddy. All eyes on Daddy.
Many of us look at and say that we are too big to learn. What is learning? Sorry, like that. What is learning? I'm okay like this.
Okay.
What is learning? Can anybody tell us the definition of learning? What is learning? The definition of learning. English students. Nobody can tell us. Learning. Mayowa, learning.
in your school.
No, I'm confident we will have somebody to defend that. Mayowa, learning. Precious, learning. More again.
Learning is the process when we pass on knowledge from our teachers and understand.
The way you are even doing your mouth, we are not hearing what
Okay, Samuel, better
it's like you are
explanation.
solely localizing.
Thank you, Mayowa.
Learning is the ability to observe and acquire knowledge.
You spoke maturely. It's okay.
There's one thing I still want us to add that is not added yet.
English teacher.
There is one thing I want us to add that you have not added. Yes.
All eyes on Daddy.
Planning, it is a continuous what? Process. You only cease to learn when you die. So you will continue to learn to the end of your life. And that is why, as a school proprietor, that is why, as a principal of a school may not be majored in science subject. Maybe has gone to university to read English language or to read your major.
Library and Information Science and Education.
Yes. And education, yes. So if a teacher is teaching science and you don't know, and you think people will say, a proprietor, I am not a student of science. Do we understand? So, and with what is teaching us today, we should be able to at least learn one or two things. But many of us will look at and say, I am too big to ask questions. I'm too big to learn. If you stop learning, you are dying gradually. It is the amount of information you have access to that makes you the head of your colleagues. Am I communicating? Yes. The volume of information you have access to that makes you the head of your colleagues. Yes. In an organization, we have the managing director, chief executive. We have managers. We have supervisors. We have the junior staff. So, what? There are informations that cannot even be disseminated to supervisor. That is within the managers and the directors. Yes. That is why we have organogram in an establishment. We have organograms in an establishment. We have job description in an establishment. So there is a limit, and there are hierarchies. Am I communicating at all? So, I remember when I was in Waco, now Lafarge. I happen to be one of the senior staff there. Our general manager, they picked him as the assistant managing director. That is late engineer Joe Coach. He died about 2 years ago at this hospital here back home, at the age of 73. Immediately they picked him as the general manager, as the managing director, chief assistant. They sent him to Guru in Jos for 9 months. Why? To acquire what? To do what? To acquire knowledge. Because as the general manager, the information is managing and is access to. It's not as wide as that of assistant managing director. And for his knowledge to be broadened and be enlarged, to be able to manage the organization as the assistant managing director, they sent him to Kuru in Jos for 9 good months. To acquire what? To do what? That means there is no level you get to that you cannot acquire knowledge. That is why learning is what? It is a continuous process. You continue to learn until when you die. So some of us have not known the full meaning of IVF. Can I have the meaning again? Yes. When we are trying to ask questions, to raise up our hands, the Lord will help us. Amen. I say God will help us. Amen. So if you don't know anything, this is what we used to tell ourselves. Even as a class teacher, you want to teach a subject, and you don't know the way to know, you don't know everything about it. You can consult teacher A, you can consult teacher B, you can consult teacher C. Don't say, I am a teacher. Hey, what my finish here? Hey, what my finish back? There is no letter, since the inception of this school, there is no letter I gave to a student or to give to their parent at home that I will not submit to effect to go through it. That's humility. When I draft a letter, I want to submit, I want to give it to students or pupils to give to their parents. I will write it, I will initiate it, I will do everything, I will give it to effect, go through this letter and correct the errors there before we print it. Number one, I've left school for so long a year. Yes. Yes. Like what my brother was teaching us today. When I was in the school, I only had identical and non-identical twins. But he used another language this morning. Identical twins, non-identical twins. That is all I know about twins. But those that are identical, what do you call it this morning?
Monozygotic twins.
Mono what?
Zygotic twins.
Can you see it? So the world is advancing. Yes. And the one that are not identical, what do you call it? Die what?
Zygotic twins.
I'm learning this morning. I only know about identical twins, no identical twins. So, please and please. Many times, if I saw you go me, I want me to correct you. But I say something about our school here. How do you mean? How do you? When we were in school, what do you mean? I think they want to ask, how do you mean? The very day I had that, they will come to but the English of today, you know my song? No. English of today, many of them will say, how do you mean? The very day I heard about that, I thought, won't happen. So God will help us. I think